Hello everybody, my name is Dimitri, Hammerbite's Eastern European cousin. I know recently his other cousin, Ghostface, was in, and it seems to be taking over the channel, but we're a very broad family. And so today's video will be about the Zastava Zpapm70, or as I like to call it, my beloved Yelena. So as you can see, this is a Yugoslavian AK. A bit of history with Yugoslavia. For those of you that do not know, Yugoslavia no longer exists. So these guns are made in what is now Serbia. When Yugoslavia stopped existing, turned into separate countries. And so going back into history, Yugoslavia and Soviet Union at the time used to have working relationship eventually between the president of Yugoslavia, Tito, and then Stalin from Soviet Union have falling out, sadly. And so when Yugoslavia tried to get licensed to produce AK, Soviet Union said niet. And so the way Yugoslavia acquired this, from my understanding, also known as Google, Tito purchased 2,000 AKs from African nation that got help from Soviet Union, and they reverse engineered the AK, turning out with what is now the YUGO pattern AK. Most AKs you see nowadays are what would be called the AKM style, and there's many different aftermarket parts for those. YUGO pattern not so much, but you're starting to see a lot more aftermarket for these. So one of the differences between this particular YUGO pattern AK and AKM is, as you can see, there is 3 holes and the handguard tends to be a bit longer. Usual AKM pattern is 2 holes instead. Another thing is normally other AK styles will be a 1mm receiver. However, this is a 1.5mm receiver, meaning this can take more abuse because it is thicker. Also, from my understanding, Tito believed every rifleman should also be grenadier, and so by grenadier, rifle powered grenades, and so sometimes you'll see they have the mechanism for the grenades of here, and so with that you need stronger AK, need to be more beefed up, hence the 1.5mm receiver. Another thing with this, as you can see right here, it has a bulge front trunnion, meaning it's thicker, more robust, more durable, more strong. Going back to what I said about the Tito believing that every rifleman should be a grenadier. So it's somewhat heavy. So going from normally most people in United States of America, they shoot AR-15. For the AR-15 being made of billet aluminum, I believe, is usually very light. This, I don't want Yelena to know, but she's a heavy girl at 7.9 pounds, But that is why I go to the gym, so I can lift her. I don't want her to feel bad about the weight. Another thing Zastava do is before they didn't chrome line barrel, now it comes with a 16.3-inch chrome line cold hammer forged barrel. What does that mean? It means with the chrome lining, the barrel will last a lot longer and you can put a lot more rounds through it. However, it is said that when you chrome line, it does affect the accuracy. However, most people will not be able to tell a difference. The only people who would be able to tell would be like precision shooter. However, at the end of the day, this is an AK and is not known to be the tightest groups at the distance. Another thing, this particular YUGO is in this beautiful Serbian red color. Me personally, this is probably my favorite color out of all of them that Zastava makes. Let's get a little bit into the ergonomics. Compared to AR-15, a little bit of getting used to. For example, the safety is comfortable. However, it is a little stiff. Don't worry, there's nothing in the gun. However, the consensus is If the safety is ever a little stiff, pull it out a little bit, should fix it. If it is too loose, push it back in. But other than that, it's not too bad. You see the little cutout right here? You can use that to pull it back, to put it in safe. However, I prefer not to lock the bolt back. It doesn't really see the point. The grip, pretty comfortable. You get pretty good. See? Too bad. So, the stock feels good too. One thing I noticed, first time I shoot AK, my best way to describe it would be when I felt it in the stock is I felt as if there was a spring inside. It feels very springy compared to AR-15. AR-15, when you feel it, it's like a little tiny little tap on shoulder. This is more very slight push, so not too bad. One thing I will say is that the reloads, it takes some getting used to. AR goes straight in, you know, like when you're with your wife at night, straight in, no lube, nothing. This, you can have to rock. Let me show you. So this, and then the released mag, use the little paddle right here. So one thing I noticed for me personally, since I do not train too much with this gun, reloading not too bad when I go slowly. When I want to go fast, for example, if I want to do a 1R1, so shoot one, reload one, and I want to do it fast, a bit of an issue. Oh, fuck. It's a wasp! So, as you can see, definitely a user issue. With more training, maybe someday I can become a little bit like Coleco 47. I'm not at the skill level, but maybe someday. But as long as you train, you'll become better. Another thing with AK is there's different ways to pull the charging handle back. Some people like to load it, do overhand. Some people like to do load and then pull it under. I believe if you are starting off, overhand seems a lot easier. You load it and then underhand definitely looks a lot cooler. However, it takes more skill. My wife, Yelena is not supposed to know about it. My wife Natasha says underhand cooler. So accuracy with AK, as you can see, the gun comes with iron sights. It has a rear sight, front sight, and you can adjust them. As you can see, it does have numbers here so that you can, adjust for the distance. However, these tend to be in meters. USA is more about yards, however this is meters, so remember that when shooting. One thing I heard about the AKs, and it does make sense, is think of the sights like a large pistol sight. It has a notch in the back, and if you put the front sight, you line it up. It really does make sense. It is like a large pistol sight. So fairly easy to use. Grouping, I tried to shoot at 100 yards, however I realized my vision is bad, and yeah, trying to do the grouping was a fail. However, I'll put in the caption what the average MOA people are getting with this particular gun. Either way, AKs are not known the most to have the best accuracy in terms of grouping. I think the average is like 4 to 5 inch groups depending on what ammo you use, so that is one thing. But shooting at a roughly 100 yards, not too bad. So one thing I forgot to say is the trigger pull. One thing about the 8K trigger pull, not so good as AR-15. Definitely a lot heavier, probably say 8-9 pounds. Also, this just seemed to feel more like a straight ball. You can see, and then we have reset and pull back. So I have something very special. A long time ago, I was given this ammo, Tula ammo 7.62x39 by a very good friend of mine. Shout out to them. 154 grain, and right here what I have is pork shoulder butt roast, and so we're going to be showing how lethal 7.62x39 is, and we're going to be using Russian ammo. So this is pretty much unobtainium, very difficult to get, and you're going to be seeing me shooting this ammo for the first time ever on camera. Let's go. So the piece of pork shoulder butt roast, it has bone in it, and I have it duct taped to a pumpkin from Halloween that was on sale. Well, that was quick. Let's go take a look. So as you can see, the pork left the packaging. It went outside, and it went through. If you look at the back, oh shit, this is the back. Look at what they did. This is the Russian 154 grade. It's good stuff. As you can see right here, it's kind of dirty. This is what they did to the pork roast. So, did good damage. I have chicken. I put it in front of pumpkin. Yeah, same Russian ammo. Did very well with Russian ammo. Completely decimated the chicken as well as the pumpkin. So yeah, first time trying Russian 154 grain ammo, and I see why it is so special. So one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned or not, 16.3-inch barrel. Not sure if I said it or not. So lastly, reliability. Now that I am done shooting, I am about 850 rounds into this gun, and I have shot Sterling, Fiocchi, and Norma ammunition, mainly Sterling, and until right now Russian ammo, tool ammo. And I only had one reliability issue, and that was a failure to feed. I'm not sure why it did that. It did it around the 80 to 100th round. I'm not sure what might have caused it. It could have been a magazine issue. I mainly used the Magpul mags, so I feel like it might have been that, but I was shooting, I was bang, bang, bang. Then when I pressed the trigger again, it didn't go, and I don't remember too well what happened, but it was most likely a failure to feed, I think. Or I don't remember, but I had one issue, that was it. I'm pretty sure it was failure to feed. Other than that, the gun has been very good. I've never cleaned this thing, so 850 rounds, never been cleaned. It definitely deserves a cleaning now. So as you know with AK, you lube them up, maybe even spit inside, and you're good. So my thoughts on the Zastava M70, I love it. I got AK, I was never the biggest fan, but once I learned about them, I really like them. Pricing, can't discuss too much, but it is over 1,000 gold doubloon, um, depending where you get it at. So not cheap by any means, but if you want to get into it, I'd recommend. But yeah, I really enjoy this gun. I have a lot of fun. I like how it has a bigger bullet compared to the AR-15, and I just have a lot of fun with it. A lot of people tend to use AK for like hog hunting. So yeah, so you could even use it for home defense or just having fun, whatever is your choosing. So with that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Later.